Alrighty, let's head over to our NBA Power Rankings. It is Friday, y'all, and we update this every Friday. And this is the first Friday since the kind of trade deadline, so we have a full kind of week to really kind of see what these teams are doing with their new additions. Are they making it work? Are they not making it work? Like really only teams making it work, and that's the Nuggets with their newly acquired piece. So very well done to them, and we will have them moving. Don't worry, folks. They're no longer number 6 here. Let's all settle down. They could be 1, folks. I'm not opposed to putting this team 1, so we'll see how it falls. But here we go. Going into this week, Clippers at 10, Hornets at 9, Blazers at 8, Mavericks at 7, Nuggets at 6, Bucks at 5, Jazz at 4, 76ers at 3, and the Suns are at 2, and the Nets are at 1. So the Nets, the best team in the league going into this week. We'll see if they can kind of maintain their number 1 status. Alrighty, before we start telling you before we start getting into the order here for the NBA Power Rankings, the new order, let's tell you because we are moving 2 teams out. So we have to bring 2 new teams in, but the first team that we are moving out is the Clippers. I hate this Clippers team, folks. What's dangerous about this team? Kawhi Leonard? Okay, when he's playing and not on load management, yes, that's fine. But then we also got Paul George not even playing, with Kawhi Leonard every single game. And Serge Ibaka's been out for this last week and it hasn't really been looking good. Now, they did get Rondo, but he hasn't played yet, so we don't know how that's going to fare out. But, I mean, man, oh, man, this Clippers team in the last week, they went 2-2. They beat the 76ers. Congratulations. They beat the Bucks. Congratulations. That was a good win by them. That was a real solid win by them over the Bucks. But, I mean, then they just faced the Nuggets last night and lost, and they were at home, and the Nuggets were just looking far superior. And, I mean, it's just the starters. I mean, the Nuggets don't have that great of a bench, and they're still able to take care of this Clippers team. So, Clippers just lost to the Nuggets and the Magic. They lost to the Magic, folks. And the Magic literally traded away all their other players. So I don't want to hear that, the Clippers, Paul George didn't play that game, and all these players didn't play. Serge Ibaka didn't play that game. The Magic just got rid of Vucevic, Aaron Gordon, and Evan Fournier. So what are we talking about here? The Clippers still have Kawhi Leonard, so there's really still no reason why that Clippers team should have lost against the Magic. So we put them in the power rankings just last week. And we told you we were going to take it slow with them because they show us nothing dangerous, and we didn't want to get overhyped on that decent week that they had last week. But here they are, 2-2, floundering again, so I'm ready to kick them out. They're out of the top 10. I'm over the Clippers. They're not a good, consistent team. I don't even know if they'll make it out of the first round of the playoffs, folks. Who are they facing right now if the season ended today? They've got the Blazers, and I'm taking the Blazers. Are you kidding me? CJ McCollum, Nurkic is back. Damian Lillard is still doing Damian Lillard things. They just got the man from the Raptors who's fitting in very, very good. At the 3, I'm blanking on his name. But regardless, I still got the Blazers over the Clippers. So Clippers out of the top 10, not sorry at all. And then the second team that is no longer in the top 10, which I am actually sorry about. I am truly saddened to see this team out, but we are unfortunately going to have to knock out the Hornets as well. 2-2 this week. They beat the Heat, which was a pretty solid win for them, and the Wizards. Like we said, like we all know, no LaMelo Ball. Unfortunate. But they were still kind of winning games decently coming into this week. But this week, they kind of floundered a little bit. They had to face the Suns, and they lost. And they had to face the Nets, and they lost and didn't look good. And we can't. I want to buy into the Hornets team, don't get me wrong. And I love kind of everybody kind of stepping up decently on a consistent basis for this team without LaMelo Ball. But for our power rankings, yeah, we like to see you be competitive. But we have to start to see you beating some of these better teams, the Suns, the Nets, who they just lost to, unfortunately. So we are going to have to move them out of the top 10. Truly unfortunate. Hopefully we can put them back in. We'll see what happens. But I think they do have a tough week this week upcoming as well. So I don't know if they're going to be able to get back in the top 10. Maybe next week. But yeah, truly saddened to see this Hornets team go. Everybody really stepping it up. Just unfortunately, they don't have that true star power, unfortunately. So they can't keep up with these star-studded teams of the Nets and the Suns and the Nuggets and the Clippers. Clippers not even, I just said the Clippers because I was looking at the Clippers, but they're truly trash. So Clippers at number 10 and Hornets at number 9 will no longer be in our top 10. All right, so that means new teams coming in the top 10. So let's go 10 to number 1, refill out, re-update these power rankings based on what happened this week. So here we go. The new number 10 team in the first team that is newly additioned here in our power rankings is going to be the Hawks, folks. Alrighty. Now, I had a troubling time figuring out who I was going to put in the top, who I was going to put at number 10. I thought about leaving the Hornets in, but the Hawks just won last night with Lou Williams, so that's their newly acquired piece since the trade deadline, and this is the first game he played for the Hawks, and it ended up with a win. So we're going to give the Hawks here this number 10 seed. We'll see what they do this week. But in the last week, they beat the they beat the Warriors and the Spurs. They lost to the Nuggets and the Suns. So once again, losing against those top tier teams. But like we just said, Lou Williams just came back, or just played his first game with the Hawks last night against the Spurs, went into double overtime and won. And also, they didn't have John Collins in that game. So their probably third best option offensively did not play that game, but they were still able to win it. So we're going to give the Hawks the spot here in the top 10 because I want to see how Lou Williams plays out for this Hawks team. Now, I believe this Hawks team has a decently rough schedule ahead of them. So let's see if we can quickly see what they've got going on this week. Just kind of looking for the... All right, let's go to the schedule here. All right, Atlanta Hawks. Here we go. What do they got going on this week? All righty. Tonight they face the Pelicans. Sunday they got the Warriors. Tuesday they got the Pelicans again. Wednesday they got the Grizzlies. All right, so it's not a bad schedule, but this is a winnable schedule for them. So they at least need to go like 3-1 and really kind of truthfully 4-0. So if they want to kind of keep this 10th seed, so a little bit of work ahead of them, but definitely winnable work. So this is definitely going to be their true test. We'll give them the benefit of the doubt. We'll give them kind of the starting position at number 10. See what they do this week. So Hawks at number 10 because of the newly acquired Lou Williams in the win with the newly acquired Lou Williams. Alrighty, number 9 is going to be the Mavericks. All right, we got to drop them back a little bit. They went 2-2 this week, beating the Celtics and the Thunder, and then losing against the Pacers and the Pelicans. And I know Luka Doncic didn't play against, and I think in both of those losses, so I understand those losses. But I mean, still, at the end of the day, we're seeing a lot of players step up in kind of that next man up mentality. I mean, everybody on the Magic is stepping up. So I don't want to hear about, our best player didn't play. You still need to be competitive, and you still need to start winning some of these games, and we still need to start seeing other players step up. If you're only a good team because you only got one superstar, a la the Clippers, that doesn't impress me because we got this Nuts team, we got this Suns team, we got this 76ers team, we got this Jazz team, we even got the Bucks, and I don't even like the Bucks that much, but I'll take the Bucks over the Clippers and the Mavericks, and definitely the Nuggets. I mean, everybody steps up on that team. So just a little unfortunate here this week, losing those 2 games. Nobody really stepping up. And then they beat, the Celtics and the Thunder. Those aren't really great wins. This Celtics team is absolutely not good. They don't know what they're doing. They don't know what their offense is. And they've got no bench. And besides Jason Brown and Jalen Tatum, I mean, there's nobody good out there. You can't rely on anybody out there. So not really great wins. Some tough losses with some of their key pieces out. Kristaps Porzingis and Luka Doncic are obviously fantastic. That's kind of the main duo out there. That's their main offense. Tim Hardaway Jr. really kind of steps up. He's really starting to impress us. He's kind of making a name for himself in that 6th Man of the Year category, in my opinion. So we'll see what the Mavericks can do this week, but we got to drop them back. Some other great performances this week, and just kind of, beating the Celtics, that's not too impressive by me. So we got to move the Mavs down a couple of seeds here, a couple of spots to number 9. Alrighty, new number 8 team, and this is a new team in the top 10 here. We got to go the Miami Heat, baby. Yes, sir. Very well done this week. They beat the Knicks, the Pacers, and the Warriors. Not great wins, but winning games. We're not going to penalize you too much for winning games. And then the loss against the Hornets. Tough loss there. But, Goran Dragic, Jimmy Butler, Victor Oladipo, I mean, they're getting it done. Duncan Robinson just stepped up last night, but Jimmy Butler and Goran Dragic, they're playing very well together. Trevor Ariza at the 4. I mean, who would have saw that coming? That's working out. I think he just switched over to the 3 last night and still got it done. So this Heat team, they're starting to become a little bit deeper now. The starting lineup starting to be a little bit more consistent out here, and I love what the Heat have done. So we're going to reward them. Victor Oladipo is probably the second best trade at the trade deadline that's been kind of working out consistently, that they're kind of winning games with these newly acquired pieces, not like the Bulls with Vucevic, who literally, man, oh man, I thought Vucevic was going to make the Bulls start winning games, him and Zach LaVine, but they can't get it right. So unfortunate there, but love what this Heat can do. And if Duncan Robinson can play like he did play last night consistently, watch out definitely for this team, because they're just kind of missing that third consistent offensive piece. We can always count on Jimmy Butler. We can always count on Bam Adebayo as well at the 5. And we can always count on Goran Dragic. Victor Oladipo, we have to see if we can start trusting him a little bit consistently. Tyler Hero, he's been decently consistent this week. And Duncan Robinson was just absolutely on fire last night with the 20-point game. So Heat at number 8. Love what they can do. And that Bam Adebayo at the 5 and Trevor Ariza both on the floor. It's working, folks. So love it. Heat at number 8. Alrighty, new number 7 team, and this team is dropping a little bit here, but new number 7 team is going to be the Bucks. Oof, not a great week for them. And I know that all their players didn't play one of these games, but once again, got to see you start to step it up a little bit. So, their only win this week was against the Lakers. Okay, you beat a LeBron-less, AD-less Lakers team. That is not impressive at all. So, congrats on that one win. All right, and then they lose against the Celtics, the Knicks, and the Clippers, and they got blown out by that Clippers. That was a really telltale sign of what this Bucks team is. I mean, Giannis is great, and Giannis is going to have these great performances, and they can kind of beat up the bad teams and the average and slightly above average teams decently. But man, oh man, when they face the better teams, they all flounder. Nobody really steps up. They get absolutely blasted by that Clippers team, who we just dropped off in the power rankings. So can't trust this Bucks team. They're really not consistent. Yeah, they just went on like a 7-game winning streak, but now what are they in their last 10? I mean, they're 7-3 in their last 10 now. They're losing games. Really should have been 0-4. Luckily, they had a run into the Lakers, but I mean, I'm not buying this Bucks team. Really, besides Giannis, nobody's really consistent. Drew Holiday's good. Chris Middleton is usually decent, but I mean, it's just nothing great. They lack on the 3-ball on most of the games where they lose, and they still kind of get beat by those outside shooting teams still. So I don't think they didn't do anything at the trade deadline. They didn't do anything really big from last season in the bubble to this season. This is still the same old Bucks team that's not threatening. Them and the Clippers are the 2 most inflated good teams out there, and I do not buy them. We do not buy them over here at Takes by Fans. So Bucks at number 7, and I'll drop them off next week. I know I was struggling finding a 10th seed out here with the Hawks, but I'll put the Magic here in the top 10. I was this close to putting the Magic in the top 10 at number 10, just because everybody's kind of stepping up decently. Like we said, when at the trade deadline, trading literally all their pieces. So Bucks at number 7, and we are not afraid to drop them out of the top 10 next week if they don't step it up. Alrighty, let's go to number 6 now. New number 6 team. This team dropping back a little bit. We've been dropping them back a little bit through this week as well. Every single loss, we've been dropping them back. But 76ers at number 6. Now, Joel Embiid is coming back tomorrow, I believe. So now they can start to get back on track here. But without Joel Embiid, they're not beating the good teams. In the last week, the 76ers have beaten the Lakers and the Cavs. Once again, I mean, what do we talk about win-wise? I mean, is that even a win? Can we even count that as a win? I know I said I don't like to kind of, knock you for doing what you're supposed to do, but man, oh man, when you're only beating the Lakers and the Cavs, I mean, yikes. And then you lose against the Clippers and the Nuggets. I mean, the Nuggets are a great team. Clippers are a big team. We'll call them a big team. They're a big team in the media. A lot of people like to talk about them. But 76ers can't beat them. Without Joel Embiid, we really can't trust them against the top tier teams, obviously. We can always usually count on Tobias Harris and Ben Simmons. Usually those two are key and always consistent. Unfortunately, Danny Green, Seth Curry, usually not. But like we said, Joel Embiid can come back, and he's kind of missed about almost 2 weeks, I think. He's missed a lot here. So 76ers, they can get back on track, but we need to start to see them start winning games with Joel Embiid. And until they do that, until they kind of prove themselves, we got to keep dropping them back a little bit there. But they'll be back there. They'll be back in the top 5 next week. I'm not doubting it. But like we said, I mean, no Joel Embiid for this week or last week. They've been going down a little bit, and until they start winning games with Joel Embiid, we'll start moving them back up. Alrighty, new number 5 team here. Yes, sir. The Blazers at number 5. Yes, sir. Norman Powell is fitting in perfectly. That means Derrick Jones Jr. comes down to the bench, makes their bench a little bit better. You got Enes Kanter, Carmelo Anthony, Derrick Jones Jr. coming off the bench. I'm about it. And then in the starting lineup, you've got CJ McCollum, Damian Lillard, who we think is an MVP front runner. Yusuf Nurkic is back and, really not missing a step since he's basically missed the entire season. Coming in and filling in very, very well. And like we said, the new addition of Norman Powell is really just making this team absolutely fantastic from 3. So the Blazers here at number 5 in the last week, they went 4-3-0. They beat the Magic, the Raptors, and the Pistons. Now, I mean, those aren't any great teams. The Magic, a little bit of a good team because they've been really kind of stepping it up here. But they had no losses. They're winning all their games. We can't control who they face this week. But the main thing is that they beat everybody this week. They're looking good. Damian Lillard's not, getting any less production because of CJ McCollum and Powell now, and I'm really interested to see here if Derrick Jones Jr. can really kind of establish himself as kind of a 6th man for this team. So we'll start to see that a little bit as this week kind of progresses a little bit more. But absolutely love what the Blazers can do here. Love their team, love their fight, love their depth, and love their starting lineup. So Blazers at 5. Alrighty, new number 4 team. No, the Jazz are going to stay here at number 4. A good week. They won all their games. They went 4-0, but they faced the Grizzlies 3 times this week. I mean, geez, can you beat a different team? So they beat the Grizzlies 3 times. They beat the Cavs. Very good team here with the Jazz. I mean, they are getting it done. I mean, they're deep. Jordan Clarkson, 6th man of the year, potentially. I mean, he just dropped 23 on the bench the other night. They just won without Donovan Mitchell. Absolutely fantastic. Mike Conley, Joe Ingles both step in and step up in that game, so we can kind of trust their depth a little bit more. We can trust players stepping up. Hey, I'm usually a bench player, but hey, Joe Ingles, you need to kind of step up and take over Mike Conley's spot, who has to take over Donovan Mitchell's spot, and they win that game. So we're big about that. But we are going to keep them at number 3 just because we've had kind of other better performances this week, and like we said, you beat the Grizzlies 3 times. That's good. That's should we be giving that a little bit more credit, because I mean, you face a team, then you have to go face them again. They kind of watch, all right, what did you do? And then you have to face them a 3rd time. They're like, all right, we know what you're going to do, and we still can't stop it. So very well done for the Jazz, I guess we should say, for beating the Grizzlies 3 times this week. But I'm a little bit more impressed with these other teams that we have in the top 4, or the top 3. So Jazz will stay at number 4 for another week. Let's see if they rise to the occasion, start beating some good teams here. We'll see what they've got in the next week, schedule-wise, but we'll see if some of these other teams start floundering a little bit more here. Alrighty, number 3 now. New number 3 team is going to be the Suns. We're going to drop them back 1 seed because we have to clear out room for our new 2 seed that's going to be coming up. But the Suns here, great week, went 4-0, beat the Raptors, the Hornets, the Hawks, and the Bulls. Once again, just a little lackluster on opponents. Yes, you went 4-0 and beat everybody that was laid in your way. But like we said, we have to kind of make room for the number 2 seed because they had a little bit of a better week just in opponent-wise. They both went 4-0. The number 3 seed, the Suns, and our number 2 seed that we're going to unveil in a second. But I mean, this Suns team, they're good. They're decently deep. Their bench of Cameron Payne, Cameron Johnson, Dario Saric, they usually kind of get it done. And then how can you not love this starting roster of Chris Paul, Devin Booker, DeAndre Ayton, Jay Crowder, I mean, that man is having great success on this team too. So, I mean, they're great really from the starting lineup to the bench. One of the probably deepest teams. Obviously, the Nets are probably the deepest team here. The Suns possibly number 2. Maybe the Jazz, or maybe the Blazers 3, the Jazz 4, just kind of depth on teams that you can rely on depth for. So, Suns are definitely very great, and we're only moving them back a little bit because I want to kind of shout out this team a lot, very heavy here. So no wrongdoing by the Suns here. Just unfortunately, another team had a little bit of a harder schedule, very slimly, so we have to give them the nod here. So who is this mystery number 2 team that we've been praising already? It's the mother-loving Nuggets, y'all. I want to put this team at number 1, honestly. It's going to be a little tough because the Nets are deep and they're reliable, and they're just getting piece after piece and they're all stepping it up. But man, oh man, this addition of Aaron Gordon, man, this makes this Nuggets team absolutely almost unstoppable. They're 4-0 this week, absolutely magnificent, beating the Pelicans, the Hawks, the 76ers, and just last night, everybody's favorite team, the mother-loving Clippers. Yes, sir. The Clippers can't even beat this Nuggets team. Now, the one thing I don't like about this Nuggets team is their bench. They really only had Paul Millsap off their bench. I mean, that's really it. But that starting lineup, they haven't seemed to need to use their bench when Aaron Gordon is in the lineup. Jamal Murray is still getting great production. Michael Porter Jr. is still getting great production. Jokic's production has slightly gone down a little bit, and I think that's definitely going to hurt his MVP cases a little bit, but he's splitting kind of production with Aaron Gordon, but collectively they're getting it done on the defensive end of the ball. They're both getting rebounds and solid points. So that's great by the Nuggets. Now, their depth, like we said, on the bench, it's a little lackluster. Like, of these top 5s here, the Nets have a better bench, the Suns have a better bench, the Jazz have a better bench, the Blazers have a better bench, the 76ers have a better bench, the Bucks have a better bench, the Heat have a great bench. Literally, that's the only problem with this Nuggets team. But so far of what we've been seeing, they don't need their bench. Their starters can all get it done. Everybody can score 20 plus points in that starting rotation if they need to, and while grabbing like 8 rebounds, everybody, while all having 5 assists. So they can all get it done themselves, and I'm ready to ride this Nuggets train till they lose. Honestly, I'm ready to ride this Nuggets train till the wheels fall off. Let's see who they've got coming up this week. Are they going to have a tough week this week? What do they got? Sunday, they play against the Magic. That should be a win. I mean, Aaron Gordon's former team. Watch this man to go off. Tuesday, they got the Pistons. Wednesday, they got the Spurs. And Friday, they got the Spurs as well. So this is a real easy week for them. So if they lose a game, we'll have to kind of move them down. This is really a winnable 4-0 week, 3-0 week, just because that Friday game we're not going to count because we do it on Friday days. But love this Nuggets team. I mean, this is one of the best starting lineups there is. The Nuggets have a great starting lineup. The Suns have a great starting lineup. But man, oh man, the 76ers have a decent starting lineup as well. But man, oh man, that Nuggets team, how they all play, all unselfish, all good defensively, all kind of solid beef in their own right. Jamal Murray is clutch as heck. And then you got the beef of just Aaron Gordon, Michael Porter Jr., and Jokic all down low. It's just fantastic. So I cannot speak more highly of this Nuggets team, folks. Alrighty, and then the number 1 seed here is still going to be the Nets. I mean, folks, how can they not? How can they not, right? 4-0 this week. I mean, Timberwolves, they beat the Timberwolves, the Pistons, the Hornets, and the Rockets. I mean, once again, no really great wins here, but their depth, Nicholas Claxton stepping up, Blake Griffin just absolutely getting it done as well. I mean, we're seeing him dunking, we're seeing him catching lobs. I mean, we're seeing him be efficient from the 3. He just hit like 2 of 2 the other night. Fantastic. He was going like 1 of 6, 2 of 6 on the Pistons. So they're deep. They can win with just Kyrie Irving. They can win with just James Harden. They win when they're both on the floor. Kevin Durant hasn't even barely made an appearance this season, and they're still winning games. And are they the number 1 seed in the East yet? They are. They finally overtook it. Gosh darn, the 76ers. Joel Embiid, you need to come back. So Nets have officially overtaken the best record in the East, and very close to the best percentage overall. Well, not too close, but decently close. Third best? Are they the third best winning percentage? They're the third best winning percentage in the league without Kevin Durant. I mean, geez. And can we shout out Nicholas Claxton getting it done off the bench? Can we shout out Joe Harris, who's the most consistent player I've seen all season in a starting lineup that's not kind of a big name? So they've got the fifth man of the year, Joe Harris. They still got Kyrie, James Harden, Kevin Durant, Nicholas Claxton coming off the bench, Bruce Brown still in the starting lineup, LaMarcus Aldridge, who just made a start last night and still solid contribution, 11 points, 9 rebounds. What more do you want from that man? And then they still got DeAndre Jordan and Blake Griffin. I mean, it's just a little unfair. It's a little annoying. And, I think we're all rooting for a team to beat this team. But you got to beat them first. So Nets at number 1. Alrighty, so this is our power rankings going into this week. Hawks at 10, Mavs at 9, Heat at 8, Bucks at 7, 76ers at 6, Blazers at 5, Jazz at 4, Suns at 3, Nuggets at 2, Nets are at 1 still, unfortunately. Now, outside looking in, I would probably say we've got maybe the Clippers a little bit. The Spurs possibly a little bit, but I need to start to see them winning. What's their biggest winning streak this season? Like 2? Are they? I don't know if they've won more than like 2 games straight. I want to shout out the Kings. I was this close to putting them kind of at number 10 as well. They've kind of been getting it done a little bit offensively. I mean, they're 7-3 in their last 10 and just putting up like 120, 130 points, no problem on a nightly basis. The Celtics, I mean, I don't even know what to make of this team, man. I mean, they need to start to get it together. They need to find out what their starting lineup's going to be. They're basically at grounds, or they're basically back at square one at the beginning of the season. All right, what should be our starting lineup? What should be our rotation coming off the bench? Can we trust Robert Williams in the starting rotation? What do we do with Evan Fournier? Kemba Walker's not going to be here next season, and oh, how the mighty have fallen. They are now currently the 8th seed in the East. Jeez. What else here? A Magic potentially outside looking in. I mean, like I said, they got rid of all their players, but everybody is stepping up on this team, and they are on a 2-game winning streak. So I shout out this Magic team. Very close to putting them at number 10 too. So a couple of teams out here outside looking in. We'll see if anybody's able to kind of make a push next week into our top 10. I mean, Hawks, Mavs. I mean, Bucks even. I mean, their spots are not kind of solidified out here, so we can still get some nice fluctuation here in our power rankings next week.